Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to catch up with Kestner. Tonight, we are going to share some random questions and share some random stories, but more importantly, make meaning out of those stories. And so tonight, we have Arniel. I'm really excited to share the space with Arniel today. I've shared a lot of great talks with Arniel. And so, Arniel, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Hey, no problem, bro. It's been a while since we've had some of those deep talks, but I mean, if anyone out there already knows us or has
Mhm.
experienced the deep talks, hopefully we can keep this under 4 hours.
That's the goal. I mean, we'll see where it goes. But before we get into that, quick shout out to Poddex. Poddex is a podcasting business. They offer a lot of great podcasting resources. And so we'll be pulling some of the questions from Poddex today. So if you're interested in checking this out, go ahead, look at the description below. I'll link it there. But Arnell, the way that this will work is I'll pull out a couple cards, 2 to 3 cards from here. We'll ask you the questions and we'll just go from there.
All right, for sure. Sounds good.
All right, let's go with it. So I've got the deck here, everyone. Nice big deck. Let's go ahead and choose question number 1.
All right.
Question number 1 is, what's one bad habit you're trying to get rid of? One bad habit you're trying to get rid of, Arnell.
Ooh, right now it's being a night owl because right now, like my sleep schedule is really, really bad. Like
Yeah.
because of the way the world is at the moment,
Yeah.
like you have less responsibilities during the day for some people. So I like do almost next to nothing during the day, except for like, watch TV, play video games, all that
Dang.
fun good stuff.
Yeah.
But I lose track of time easily. So my sleep schedule at the moment is I usually fall asleep anywhere from like 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. and then wake up whenever I wake up, and then just like take naps like some throughout the day, like sometimes because I haven't been able to sleep a straight 8 hours in like a while.
Dude, it's hard. I'm like
Oh
thinking
yeah.
about the times we're in right now of just, being with the COVID times and, for a lot of people, they're laid off. They don't have jobs, right? And a lot of us
Yep.
that were maybe artists in the making or content creators in the making, right? What we thought was really stable at the moment just completely turned a whole 180. So I know that you
Oh
used to
yeah.
dance, and dance was a huge part of your life when you were, dancing in SoCal. And, this pandemic really just changed everything around. So a huge part of that for everyone, and I'm sure that a lot of people are experiencing this, is just straight up sleep, right? We're just not
Yeah.
getting enough sleep, or maybe, we're having different priorities now where we have to take care of siblings, taking care of parents or family members, and we're just at home a lot of the different times. And that honestly just screws up our sleep schedule. So like
Yeah.
I definitely can feel that habit getting to me. I'm very fortunate that I still have a routine laid out with being a teacher and then having that schedule, but at the same time I can find myself struggling like on the weekends, for example, because like I'm just not able to do the same things that I could do to keep myself on track.
Yeah, I know exactly. And so that's like where, like when I was like living in SoCal before like the pandemic hit, like my
Hmm.
daily routine was I actually would wake up like consistently at like 7 in the morning. Like, and that was to like, get my
Yeah,
work done so that
exactly.
cause I was only working part-time, like too.
Yeah.
So I would be done working at like 3 p.m. and then I would
Hmm.
just take like dance classes and I would go like train like with like some of like the biggest dancers like in the scene because they would be teaching
Yeah.
like classes, offering advice after those classes and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And then I would just be exhausted by the time I got home, so it was easy to like go to sleep. But
Hmm.
like you said, like with the pandemic and everything, like everything just changed. And
Flew
I'm
out
sure
the
like this
window.
happened to like everyone, like maybe yourself included. But like
Yeah.
when in the beginning, like when like our daily routines changed, like it
Yeah.
wasn't that big of a deal in the beginning because we all thought we would get through this like
Quickly,
a
more
month or
quickly
two.
than, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
way sooner. But as
Hmm.
time like dragged on, like I'm sure like a lot of us felt like that anxiety and
Yeah.
everything about like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like,
Yeah.
where's like everything that I was doing is like gone at the moment. Like, how do I figure things out? And that kind of
Yeah.
leads to the routine change, at least for
Mhm.
me, because even though like it sounds all like I've kind of made it sound like fun, where I was just just watching TV and doing all these fun
Mhm.
things, but
Yeah.
as time has gone on, like you lose joy in doing all of those things because it just
Yeah.
becomes like your habit,
Mhm.
and then you're no longer like doing it for like fun. It's just because that's
Yeah.
all that's left to do, and
Mhm.
that kind of like sucked for like a really long time. But I'm glad to say that I am working on that habit though, because I
Yeah.
have been inspired to like do more, as you can
Mhm.
tell with my hair. Because if you saw me
Yep.
prior to like this moment, I've never had this light of hair before. This was
Yeah.
literally like a week ago. so so it's like
You
just
used to have dark hair,
now,
everyone.
yeah, I use the super dark brown or black hair. But since last week, been active in trying to break like my bad habits and go
Mhm.
back to being productive in any way that I can moving forward.
Yeah, 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 definitely. So you touched upon that, right? We were talking about how, this really bad funk that you're in of just like being a night owl and sleeping super late. So I guess like what are you specifically doing right now to break out of that funk?
Yeah, so in the beginning, like when I was in that funk, like I was
Mhm.
just staying in bed a lot, just like,
Yeah.
just watching stuff on my phone or like the TV remotes like close by. So I just watched TV, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't active like at all. But like fortunately, what kind of helped turn me around is that I talked to my mom and
Mhm.
it's like we wanted to do some renovating kind of like at the
Yeah.
house. And one idea that got me really going or started to be like, okay, let's time to slowly make a change is my parents have given me the freedom to start turning our garage into like a more home gym space. And
Nice.
at the same time, like the one side of that space I can use specifically like for dance. So they're going
Mhm.
to allow me to like get mirrors and all that stuff,
Dang,
so I can
that's
like
cool.
kind of set up my own like dance space.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they've even and even though and because like money has been like tight and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
that,
yeah.
like for me anyway, my parents, I'm very fortunate that well, this is good and bad, but my parents still work
Mhm.
actively just because they are considered, what's the word I'm looking for? They're considered essential workers
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. So like they still have to work like Monday through
Mhm.
Friday, sometimes the weekends. But because of that, they've been kind enough to like help me financially.
Mhm.
And even though this may not sound like much, but because we have online resources for like dance, like Steezy Studio, and like
Yeah,
now
yeah.
like Building Block with Keone and Mari,
Yeah.
they're willing to help me purchase like a membership like through them, so I can continue to take dance classes like once I've set up my own dance space.
Yeah.
And we're just slowly getting the ball rolling on that. I kind of underestimated how long that would take, but we're moving forward. Like it's getting there,
Yeah.
and everything in terms of building that. Another thing that I've been able to do, so while that project's going on, is having that bad habit of like sleeping super late. That like
Yeah.
affects your health, obviously.
Definitely, of course.
So like my health was getting pretty bad. I just ignored it because I was like, who cares? There's no one to see. Like
Oh
I don't
man.
need to go out. But there was one day though where my brother and I were like talking, and it's just like, we have a lot more free time. We should like
Mhm.
try to get healthy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so he took the first step. He actually got a membership through an online membership through beachbody.com. So then, so
Hmm.
he was like, I'm going to do this workout, and there's hundreds of other workouts on here. So you don't have to do it, but here's like the login info. You should start doing this something too, basically.
Nice.
Oh, sure. Why not? I kind of reluctantly like gave it a try because
Yeah.
this Beachbody, if you have no idea what it is, it's like if you ever seen a commercial for like Insanity or like P90X and all that stuff,
Yeah.
that's where it comes from. And because I had that image in my mind, I was like, this is not gonna be fun. This is, I was like, because I've tried Insanity, and that is like that's like the hardest workout I've ever tried to do.
I remember you talking about
But
that. Yeah.
oh yeah, but I was fortunate enough where my brother actually, like, before I started doing a workout routine, he actually told me, because he went through like some of the workouts, and he was like, well, you like combat sports, there's boxing like on here, like there's boxing related workouts. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll give that a try because that sounds fun. And then lo and behold, I fell in love with that. Like
Mm-hmm.
boxing workouts are hella fun, and it's not just boxing either, like there's bodybuilding too, albeit like minor because it's not as like as intense as like someone that's trying to get hella yoked. but but there's like 2 days of weightlifting,
Yeah.
and 2 days of like and 3 days of boxing. And that kind of, and doing that kind of gave me, since I had a lot of fun doing that, I look
Mm-hmm.
forward to doing that every day, or the days where I had to do it. And that got me out of bed a lot sooner
Mm-hmm.
than I normally would have. And then I also started taking my health very seriously at that point,
Nice.
because I started looking up like supplements, like
Right.
healthy
Right.
ways to like do things. And this past week I started like cooking again,
Yeah.
so that's kind of been like the second thing that's like helped me start to like get past like the bad habits. And the
Mm-hmm.
last step that I'm kind of going through at the moment is to just like build like a build a routine or schedule again
Of course. Yeah.
and stuff, like because I would do all these things like work on like the garage,
Mm-hmm.
exercise, amongst other things, like it
Yeah.
kind of like sporadically, like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have like a plan or a set time to do any of it. But when I was in SoCal, especially, I was the most productive when I had like it's scheduled. Okay, it's like do this
Of
from
course.
7 to like 10, for
Yep.
example, and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm working on finding productive apps, especially like on my
Mm-hmm.
iPad. I'm looking for ways to utilize my iPad in a more productive way,
Yeah.
and then so that I can just like have like a schedule and consistently be like, okay, go to sleep at this time instead of at 5 a.m. and then
Yeah.
slowly rebuild myself in a sense, because 2020 wrecked me pretty hard, just like probably a
All of
lot of
us, man.
people. Yeah,
All of
like
us.
everybody. But like now it's like we can't let 2020 beat us, man. Like we got
Yeah.
to like work through it because we still have
Mm-hmm.
plenty of years after this crap
Mm.
hole to improve ourselves. So that's kind of just where I'm at mindset wise to break that habit and move forward.
So I just want to say I expected nothing less from a deep conversation with you, man. I always appreciate you and just thank you so much for taking the time to process all this with me.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Thanks so much for inviting me. Hope we can catch up like again real
There you
soon,
go.
and go from
Definitely
there, man.
will. All right. Thanks, Arnel. For everyone else, thank you so much for joining in today. Go ahead, share, like, subscribe to the channel, push out this episode. We both really appreciate it. Continue to follow Catch Up with Kessler for more content. If you like this episode, go ahead, leave a comment in the below. But again, Arnel, thank you. Until the next time.
All right, peace.
Peace.